Hey guys, it's Fiora, and because it's time for the holidays, I want to talk to you about adopting a pet because I know some people think that pets are great to give for the holidays, and while I'm not necessarily against giving a pet, I do want you to think about it before you do it. There's a lot of stuff that is involved with having a pet. First, I'm going to strongly recommend that if you want a pet, you need to research what sort of pet is going to match with your lifestyle. You need to know how much time and energy you're going to be able to devote to your pet and how much time and time they require for care. For example, I knew that when I was looking for a dog, I needed to get a dog that was hypoallergenic because Ray's allergic, Dave's allergic. And I knew that when I decided on a poodle, that poodles were high maintenance dogs. They require lots of grooming. I need to brush Phaedra every day. I need to bathe her. I need to either take her to the groomer, which is like $100, plus tip, to get her groomed. Or if I don't do that, I need to groom her myself. She needs to be groomed every 4 to 6 weeks. So there's a lot of effort that goes into having a poodle. They're a high maintenance dog. So you need to research what type of dog or cat or whatever the pet is. You need to research it before you get it, because that's the reason lots of pets end up in shelters or in rescue groups, is because people will get a pet and they'll pick a pet that doesn't really match with their lifestyle and the amount of time and energy they have to commit to that pet. So then they don't know what to do with the pet, so the pet goes to the pound, which is sad. On that note, I have to recommend that you consider adopting a pet, because you can work with local rescues to get purebred pets. You can work with, any sort of local shelter. They'll have pets. All of my animals, with the exception of my bearded dragon and Phaedra, have been adopted. When I was 13, I adopted my first cat, who was a purebred Persian. She came from a hoarder's house, so her fur was matted. I don't know how many cats this woman had, but my cat was so grateful just to have a home with one cat. That was it. So it's really possible for you to get nice cats, nice dogs. Later on, I adopted 2 Burman cats. They're long hair, and they're supposed to be better for people who suffer with allergies. And Ray did okay with them because he's really allergic to the dander. He would do silly things like stick his face in their fur, and I'm like, you're allergic, why are you doing that? Of course your eyes are gonna puff up. Crazy. I adopted them. They were older cats. They were 7 and 9. And the youngest one, who was 7, lived to be 11, but then she had renal failure, which was really sad. And the 9-year-old Quasar lived for a long time. I mean, she's on, you can see pictures of her on my blog. She lived to be 15 and a half, and then basically just her body started shutting down, and she wouldn't eat, she wouldn't do anything. And so I had to make that hard call to put her to sleep. And that's another thing. To me, I feel like, pets are family members for life, so it's a lifelong commitment. Let me give you some other reasons that are good to adopt, or at least consider adopting. 1, you will definitely save a life and you will have a grateful companion, and I can attest to that. All of the cats that I have adopted have been like that. They've been just so happy to have a home. There's about 2.7 million cats and dogs that are euthanized each year, and it's because there's just not enough homes for them, and it's really, really sad to think about that. So if you're adopting, you're saving a life, which is pretty awesome. Another good reason to adopt is when you adopt, you get a healthy pet. Like I mentioned, I bought Phaedra, I went to a breeder, and 2 years later she had Addison's disease. And Addison's disease is pretty much life-threatening if you don't treat it. It can be hard to diagnose, but it's where the adrenal glands don't function properly. And so she almost died. She basically was getting really sick and we didn't know what was going on. It was very hard for my vet to diagnose. When he finally diagnosed it, I was pretty much heartbroken, because Addison's disease is one of the diseases that you want to watch out for with poodles. And she didn't have any of that in her lineage, so we don't know where it came from, but it's pretty expensive to take care of. I mean, it's easy to as long as you manage it, it's okay. And she's, Phaedra has a very healthy and happy life, but it's expensive. Every 6 weeks I take her to the vet and she gets a shot. That's $160. Every other month I have to buy estrogen pills from a compound pharmacy for her, which are $50. And then every other month I have to buy a bottle of prednisone pills, which is a steroid, which is $15. So that one's not very expensive, but it's definitely something to consider when you're getting a pet, is that they may get sick. You may need to take care of them. But I feel like Phaedra and I were meant to be, and I don't know what would have happened to her if I hadn't, brought her home with me. I really hate thinking about what would have happened for her, because I'm afraid some people would have just abandoned her or not taken care of her or would have put her down, and that just kills me, because she's an awesome dog and she's living a perfectly, normal, happy life. She's very energetic. She's very alpha. very happy, and she's my best friend, so I'm so glad I have her. So yeah, if you adopt, you're gonna be able to adopt a healthy pet. The shelter or rescue will be able to give you a background on what's going on with the animal, and if the animal has special needs, they will let you know, so you'll already have an idea of what the pet will be like. Adopting will save you money because you will not be paying a lot of money up front. Like I paid $1,500 for Phaedra, and when you adopt from the shelter, usually it's like $200 or $300 depending. And that cost that you're paying when you adopt from the shelter, you're basically paying for all the shots and everything to bring the pet up to code and make sure to make sure that the pet's healthy and has all of the shots and everything they need to go out in the world and be fine. So even if you choose not to adopt and you want to go buy a pet, make sure you find a reputable breeder. Do not buy from a puppy mill. Do not buy from a pet store. Those places are horrible, and the living conditions of the animals in those places in the puppy mills is horrible. Like, these dogs are basically cramped into little crates, and they just are made to pop out as many puppies as they can a year before they're put down, and like their little feet will be like all ripped up from the wire cages that they're in and stuff. It's horrible. It's inhumane. It's awful. So please do not buy from a pet store. Please do not buy from a puppy mill or anything like that. If you really want to buy a purebred dog, please research and find a reputable breeder. You should be able to find like an enthusiast group in your area that will help you if you're looking for a specific type of breeder. I keep my eye on the Florida Poodle Rescue all the time. I donate money to them. I have my Amazon Smile account set up to donate money to them. So anyway, my point is, if you're considering a pet for the holidays, please research the pet and how much time and energy and money it's going to take to make sure that it's going to be a fit for you and your lifestyle. If you can, adopt, because that's great. Like I mentioned, you can work with a shelter, you can work with a breed rescue, because there are breed rescues for all the different breeds out there. I'm sorry for rambling so much, but this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart. To me, it's really, really important that before you get a pet, you know what you're getting yourself into, and you know whether or not you have like the time commitment and the energy and the money for it, because it's really sad to me when people buy a pet and then, 6 months later they give the pet up, because I've seen that happen way too many times, and it breaks my heart, because the poor pet's like, I didn't do anything wrong, so why am I in jail? This sucks. Anyway, I would love to hear stories about your pets. Please let me know. Have you adopted? Have you bought? Do you have any like fun or crazy stories to share? Please tell me in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.